Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekakadash, and double understood those great millstone I love his truth. And also to the hopefully elect that's scattered abroad. I like to say shalom and come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. The title of the daily lesson is the coming catastrophes. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learn. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So that about, as of the day, another mass shooting in Texas, 14 children, also one teacher had passed away. So we still are not ignorant of Satan's device. And that about it, he's constantly getting ready to devise his evil scheme, his evil plan, this new world order, the WHO, all these things are coming to pass. So a lot of great tribulation are coming upon, great death, great mourning. It is here, it is at the door. And that about, we're seeing that coming catastrophes is coming upon us, calamities, troubles. They're coming. They're constantly growing. And that about it, if you cannot see, and that about it, the Lord have you in a spiritual darkness, and that about that, we constantly warning you left and right. It is here, and that about the end is being manifest left and right. All sorts of things are going on. Last week, 10 got killed in Buffalo. All this had been engineered from the left hand side, and that about that things are coming to pass, and that about Spirit of the Lord is moving through the earth, and that about it's time to repent or die, and that about we constantly warn you left and right. It is here. It is at the door. So the title of today's lesson once again is the coming catastrophes. So we get started with the title of today's lesson, the meaning of catastrophe. We'll look it up right quick, and then we'll watch 2 video clips and hope that you get edified. So when you look up the word catastrophes, it means an event causing great and often sudden damage or suffering and disaster. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a few examples. It says disaster, calamity. It says crisis, holocaust, ruin, tragedy, shock, trouble, tribulation, mishap, misfortune. You know what I'm saying? Affliction, woe, mean destruction, distress. So these are the times that we're living in. We're living in these perilous times that coming catastrophe, calamities, levels of adversity. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a time of great mourning. And that's about we read upon these times. A lot of people are playing games, but that is about it. It's getting ready to cease. We're seeing all these things constantly happening. We knowing, what the devil is getting ready to do, because we knowing that he has run out of time. And that about it, he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. And that about it, that he's engineered his plans from the left hand side. We constantly warning you left and right. We seeing it is coming to pass left and right. And that about it, that the devil is getting ready to come down with that great flood. Also, the Lord is getting ready to lift up that standard. So these coming catastrophes are right upon us. And that about these calamities, constantly when you turn your TV, these events, suddenly they are happening. And that about you say in thy security. And that about it, a lot of people gonna be thrown off. A lot of people are still not considered, still don't know the signs of the time. We're here. And that about is that, hey, we constantly warn you left and right. You know what I'm saying? The writing is written on the wall, and also the stage is set. So the title of the daily lesson, once again, is the coming catastrophe. So we get started with I got 2 little short video clips, and after the video clips, we'll start the lesson and hope that you get edified by the lesson today. And here's the first video. One moment.
Americans say their top concerns are inflation, gas prices, the economy, no baby formula. No one in Washington seems interested in any of that. Instead, they're off onto something new, building new utopias in other countries around the world. Joe Biden was in Tokyo. Now he's suggesting that the United States could soon have a war with China.
Willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made.
What? Even if you're a China hawk, we certainly are. War with China? Can we win a war with China with our current military? I mean, let's be honest. So the White House tried to walk those comments back. This is a long-standing pattern of the guy just going off. President of the United States, by the way, this is the 3rd time at least that Biden has threatened to wage war against China. He's also constantly threatening to wage war against Russia, which we're now doing. So Elbridge Colby is a former Trump administration DOD official. He's also a defense and foreign policy expert who's been very tough on China in his writings over the years, so we thought it'd be worth asking what he thinks of this. Rich Colby, thanks so much for coming on. So, we have this longstanding policy of not saying certain things out loud, strategic ambiguity. What do you make of the president violating that today?
Well, I think it's a mistake, Tucker. I think we should defend Taiwan, but there's a reason that we speak quietly about this. The old policy is, speak softly but carry a big stick. And as you suggest, we kind of lack the big stick, and the president was sort of blithely bringing it up. And, you don't poke the dragon, if you will, when you're not quite ready. And that's unfortunately the situation we're in right now.
It does seem, considering that, all network servers are all made in China, right, by a Chinese government-controlled company. Like, to what extent could China just, shut the United States down? We're dependent on them for virtually everything. We don't even have vitamin C made domestically. Like, why would you talk like this right now?
Well, exactly. We should be focusing on getting ready. I think stepping back a bit, Tucker, if we're serious about this, and we should be, the president himself said that Asia is going to be the most important theater of the world, the most economy of the world. Are we acting like a nation that's getting ready that could possibly have a war with China in a few years?
Exactly.
That's a real thing, and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Americans, both combat forces and civilians, could die. And my question is, why isn't everybody, Democrats and Republicans, acting like that's a real possibility instead of, say, high-fiving over sending $40 billion to Ukraine? As you know, I'm in favor of supporting the Ukrainians, but we're on the verge of a superpower war. Are we acting like it? I don't think so.
I just talked to someone who's active duty yesterday who said, every meeting he has with the commanding officers about politics and DEI and, it's wildly politicized. Is anybody who's in favor of prosecuting these brand new wars, thinking about the readiness of the United States military?
Look, there are a lot of great people in this.
Americans say their top concerns are inflation.
One moment.
Have you seen The Economist's May publication? This month's release is predicting that 1 billion people are about to starve to death. Interestingly enough, when you zoom in on that cover photo shoot, this is what you get. Can't see it? Well, here's a close-up. I hope you are preparing for what's about to come down the pipeline.
Okay. Hope you enjoyed the video. So the coming events, sudden events, great tribulation, great anguish, great mourning, great groaning is coming. And that's about it. We constantly warn you left and right, the coming catastrophes that right upon us. And that's about, both of those videos, seeing that, having food shortage, seeing that the gas prices are constantly running up, and also the food prices are going up, hyperinflation. And that's about all these things are constantly being engineered from the left-hand side, and they constantly going to get greater and greater. All hell is getting ready to break loose. We constantly want all these mass shooting all of a sudden has started back up. And that's about it. Just like we said, Egyptian against Egyptian. A lot of things are getting ready to take place. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 2nd Ezra chapter 16, would not be able to buy or sell, sedition among men, insurrection. All these things are getting ready to come to pass, the coming catastrophes. And that's about it, the coming events, which in fact, very, great death, great destruction is right upon them. We constantly warn you left, right, power outages, you know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people, they're still walking around just like they're a good cake. They're still going on with their daily life. And that's about it, they're going to get caught in that trap. And that's about it, they're in for a very rude awakening. And we constantly warning you left and right. It is here. It is at the door. So we'll open up. We'll open up in the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. We'll start at the top. One moment. We'll start up at the top. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and we'll start up at the top at verse 1. And it reads, "But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For," verse 2, "for yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." So a lot of things are getting ready to happen. The Lord's getting ready to return. The Lord said, "I will come like a thief in the night." So that's why we must always be watching and praying, and knowing the signs of the time, being circumspect. So now let's start back up at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. We'll start back up at verse 3. "For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." So see what happened. A lot of people went on with their daily lives. In the Buffalo shooting, 10 people had gotten killed. Ladies and men. They went out to make they went to do their daily going on with their daily life. So like, and everybody went to the store to shop. For necessities, and everybody didn't knowing that was going to be their last time. So the coming catastrophes are right upon us. These events are constantly suddenly happening. And everybody, we're not ignorant of Satan's device over in Texas. All of a sudden, the sudden what? Sudden the coming catastrophes, this tribulation, anguish, death, and destruction, and persecution is coming. And everybody, it's coming at a fast pace. And everybody, like a woman travail with a child. And everybody, a lot of people will be howling, vexation of the spirit. And everybody, we constantly warn you left and right, but we are running out of time. So now, let's start back up. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and we'll start back up at verse 4. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Verse 5, ye are all children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Verse 6, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. So that everybody watch, pray, and be sober, knowing the signs of the time, measuring the time diligently in itself. And everybody, we constantly warn you left and right. And everybody, we are here. It is at the door. And everybody, you're seeing all these coming catastrophes are right upon us. These sudden events, they are constantly popping, and then they gonna get greater and greater. All hell is getting ready to break loose. And everybody, we in these times, real time. So now let's go to one moment. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, and we'll start up at the top. 2nd Ezra chapter 9. One moment. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. And it reads, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. Verse 2, then shall thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And everybody, the Lord is constantly visiting the earth that he made. He's showing us through the signs of the time, blood moon, and he's seeing all these different adversities going on the earth. Seeing these different weather patterns. We're seeing, rumors of war. We're seeing this food shortage, all these different calamities that's coming upon us. And that a lot of people are still asleep, but we're not asleep. We're constantly watching. We're constantly waiting on the great and glorious return of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, the coming catastrophe. They're right upon us. These events are coming suddenly. And everybody, the Lord said he will come like a thief in the night. That's all of a sudden. When they say peace, then safety. So that everybody, you must keep your head on a swivel and trust and believe in Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So now we'll start back up. 2nd Ezra chapter 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, and we'll start back up at verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, verse 4, then shall thou well understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and the end is manifest. And the end is constantly being manifest left and right. And the Lord is constantly moving through the earth that he created. And everybody, the Lord's getting ready to set things back in order. We constantly are seeing the signs of the time, the tokens of what's going on right now, the signs. And everybody is that, we're seeing that the Lord is getting ready to do a mighty work. We're seeing that, over there in Texas, over in Buffalo, all this has been engineered from the left-hand side. And the Lord is in perfect control. The end is being manifest right before our eyes. We're living in the last day. We're living in perilous time. So the coming events, the coming calamity, this great tribulation is right upon us. And everybody, we constantly warn you left and right. All these things are just constantly popping left and right. If you cannot see in all this time, then you're walking in the congregation of the dead, and you will be put to death. And everybody, we constantly warn, RD microchip. We're telling you about this new world order, the WHO. All this is here. The coming catastrophes, they are here. These global events are getting ready to occur. And that about Bible prophecy are constantly being fulfilled left and right. And once again, the end is being manifest. So now, let's go to 1 John one moment. Just a quick lesson through the Spirit. Let's go to 1 John one moment. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 19. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 19. And it reads, and we know that we are of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and the whole world lies in wickedness. And that's about how do we know it? Because we constantly, day and night, meditate in this great wisdom. We have this understanding in this gospel. And that's about it. We trust in the Lord. We fear the Lord. And that's about we seeing that the world is lie in wickedness. And that's about said wickedness has exceeded, polluted the whole earth. And that's about we seeing it all around. It's constantly growing and growing. And the Lord's getting ready to level this place. And that's about we constantly warn you. And that's about we read upon judgment. So now let's get a quick precept. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. One moment. Matthew chapter 24. One moment. Matthew chapter 24, and we'll start at one moment. We'll start at verse 12. And it reads, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And everybody, that's what's happening. Seeing the love of many is constantly waxing cold. Wickedness is great. And everybody's seeing that the body count is constantly going on. People are dying left and right. But it's going to be on a higher level very soon. And everybody, it will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And also be groaning and moaning. A lot of people going to be travailing like a woman with child, and everybody because they didn't seek the Lord, and everybody they did not consider. So they're going on with their daily lives, just like the ones in Buffalo, New York, like the ones in Texas. They went to school and they didn't know that was going to be their last day. So the Lord is bringing sudden judgment upon us, and everybody just like I told you once before, and everybody we're read upon judgment. And he said, first my judgment would start at the house of Israel. The coming catastrophes that read upon us, the coming events, tribulation, anguish, misfortune. A lot of things are getting ready to happen on a mass level. And everybody, it's time to seek the Lord while he can't be found. So now, let's start back up. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 21. One moment. Ezekiel, one moment. Ezekiel chapter 21. Ezekiel chapter 21, and we'll start up at verse 6. Ezekiel chapter 21 and verse 6. One moment. And it reads, says, sigh therefore thy son of man with the breaking of thy loins, and with bitterness sigh before their eyes. And that's what we're doing. We're sighing and crying left and right, warning before destruction. And everybody, we're sounding the alarm. We're sounding the trumpet each and every day. You have been well warned. And everybody, the Lord is constantly revealing his secrets to the prophet. And everybody, they're coming to pass left and right. And everybody, we're not ignorant of Satan about it. Even though a lot of people are going on with their daily lives because they're of this world. We're not of this world. We had came out of this world and picked up the cross and followed Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's why we constantly sighing and crying left and right. Repent or die. And everybody, either you mark for salvation or you mark for death. And everybody, the 1/3 or the 2/3. It's coming down to the wire. The stage is set. So now let's start back up. Ezekiel chapter 21. We'll start back up at verse 7. And it reads, and it shall be when they shall unto thee, when they shall, let's start back over. Ezekiel chapter 21 and verse 7. And it shall be when they say unto thee, wherefore sighest thou, that thou shalt answer for the tidings, because it cometh, and every heart shall melt, and all hands shall be feeble, and every spirit shall faint, and all knees shall be weak as water. Behold, it cometh, and it shall be brought to pass, says the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 8. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus said the Lord, say, a sword is sharpened, and also is furbished. So that everybody that we're coming upon that time. That's why we're sighing and crying left and right. We're not keeping not silent, and that about we constantly doing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and that about the coming catastrophe are read upon us, and that about a global event that we have never seen. For all of a sudden, the Lord said he would come like a thief in the night. The Lord said, behold, I come quick. That's why we must be always watching, praying, adding about it, keeping the faith, building the faith. The same that endure, the same shall be saved. That's why we come sighing and crying, sounding the alarm each and every day, even though we get mocked and scoffed. But that about it is getting ready to be a thing of the past. So now let's start back up. Let's start back up at verse 9 once again. And it reads, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus said the Lord, say, a sword is sharpened, and also is furbished. Verse 10, it is sharpened to make a sword slaughter. It is furbished, that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It condemneth the rod of my son as every tree. Verse 11, and he has given it to be flourished, that it may be handled. The, the sword is sharpened, and it is flourished, to give it unto the hands of the slayer. So that everybody that we read upon judgment, that sword is sharpened, and that the Lord is getting ready to bring all these global events to pass, and that the Lord is in perfect control, and that He controlled the left hand side, and also He controlled the right hand side. The coming catastrophes. And this is the most high movement, and it's playing right on schedule. And the kingdom of heaven is almost at hand. And this is our last time being afflicted. This is our last time of being down. And this is our last time being around all these unbelief. And the Lord is getting ready to set that righteous kingdom forever and forever. And the Lord said, I come not to bring peace. I come to bring that sword. He's sharpening it up right now. It's going into the hands of the slayer. And judgment. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is getting ready to return. He's getting ready to lay all these kingdoms down. All this wickedness and all this deceiving is getting ready to be a thing of the past. So you're seeing all these things are constantly coming to light. Food shortage. You're seeing these mass shootings. You're seeing rumors of war. Israel and Iran. They're constantly talking about attacking one another. You're hearing wars in that video. You heard about Taiwan and America. Taiwan and America getting ready to link up against what? China. And everybody, just like we telling you, all of a sudden when they say peace and safety, and World War III has begun, and Russia and NATO, and everybody, all hell is getting ready to break loose. And it's time to seek the Lord. It's time to pray, watch and be sold, because the coming catastrophes are right upon us. And these global events are constantly, they popping like clockwork. And we constantly warn you left and right in the sovereignty of America. And it is here. You know what I'm saying? So a lawless time is right upon us. So that everybody's there. It's time to prepare and get the right mindset. So now, don't mean to be rambling. Let's one moment. Let's go to our last and final strip. Let's go to we'll close out. Let's see what we want to close out at. Let's go to one moment. Let's go to Job chapter 4. We'll close out here. Job chapter 4, and we'll start at verse 7. One moment. Job chapter 4 and verse 7. One moment. And it reads, remember, I praise thee, whoever perished being innocent, or were the righteous cut off. Verse 8, even as I have seen they that plow iniquity, so wickedness reap the same. So that about that, if you sow wickedness, and that about you will reap the same. And that about that, don't anyone perish being innocent. So that about you seeing all these things are going on in the world. The Lord is bringing judgment right before our eyes. And that about we're telling you about these global events are coming faster and faster. And that about the pace is picking up. And all hell is getting ready to break loose. And that about we constantly warning you left and right. That's why the Lord said wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the time. You must have a stable mind in these times. Seeing 10 people in Buffalo, 14 children and one kid, whether it was engineered or whether they was active. Well, either way it go, the Lord is constantly bringing it to pass, because the idea about it is that the devil, knowing that he has a very short time, he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. And we constantly warn you left and right, even though we're sounding like a broken record, we're gonna constantly do the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Tribulation, misfortune, anguish, groaning, mourning, howling and weeping. That's what's getting ready to happen. Also in that other video, that famine is getting ready to return. Starvation is coming back in a big way. And we constantly warning you left and right. Know the signs of the time. Measure the time diligently in itself, because that is about the Lord is getting ready to return. The end is being manifested left and right. So the title of the day's lesson, once again, is the coming catastrophe. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. I like to say, Shalom.